Okay, this is a video about writing exponential equations from word problems and situations. So this problem says Dusty won $125,000 on Who Wants to Be a Zillionaire game show. He decides to place the money into an account that earns 6.25% interest compounded annually. Okay, so compound just means that we're going to have to multiply by our percentage interest. So write an expression that represents how much money, y, Dusty will have in X years. So in order to do that, we need to know our initial value, and that's going to be the $125,000. And we know we're going to multiply because it's compound interest, but we're not using the percentage 6.25 because that's how much we're gaining each year. And you always have to add or subtract from 100%. 100% would be like staying exactly the same. So 100% plus 6.25% is 106.25%. But because in math we don't use percentages, we have to change it to a decimal. And you always change it to a decimal by moving 2 spaces to the left. So my multiplier is actually 1.0625 to the power of x. And put a y equals at the front to represent how much money he's going to have after X years. So how much money will be in the account when he retires in 23 years? So you want to use your calculator and plug in $125,000 times 1.0625 to the power of 23. And what that tells the calculator is you're going to keep multiplying by this 23 times. And you should get an answer of $504,000. 052.3. So all total, $504,052.30 is how much is in Dusty's account when he retires in 23 years. That was an exponential increase, and now we're going to talk about an exponential decrease. So this problem is looking at Mr. Block. He really wants to save the goldfish in his pond. He knows that the total number will decrease by 5% every time it rains because of all the pollution. He knows that he bought 63 goldfish from the pet store when he stocked the pond. So again, in order to write an equation that models this situation, we need to know our initial value, so 63 goldfish, and we need to know our multiplier. And instead of increase, we're dealing with decrease. So we want to subtract from 100%. So it looks like each time it rains, we have 95% of what we used to have, which when you change that into a decimal, you always have to move the decimal place 2 spots. So it's going to be 0.95. So my equation is y equals 63 times 0.95 to the power of x. How many fish would be left in the pond if it rained 12 times that summer? So you could multiply by 0.95 12 times, or you could do 63, because that's my initial value, times 0.95 to the power of 12. And you should get 34.04, or really, because it's fish, 34 goldfish are left. How many times would it have to rain before all his goldfish die? So if you keep on multiplying, you're going to get a number lower than 0. But in exponential situations, you should know that your number will keep on getting smaller and smaller and smaller, like something like that. So you could say, mathematically, your answer would be never, but in real life, the goldfish would eventually die.